Should you take your pension in a lump sum or monthly payments? I've got a rule of thumb here that could be very helpful when you're doing this calculation. I'm Wes Moss with Money Matters, and this is probably one of the most common questions I get. I'm based in the Southeast in Atlanta, and AT&T is a huge employer. Coca-Cola, huge employer. And these are companies that have pension plans that very often will offer you a lump sum amount or a monthly amount, and you've got to make the call. Which one's a better deal? Well, there's a lot of factors that go into making this decision. I'm going to help you with one rule of thumb here to start out with, and then we're going to go through a couple other pieces that also to consider. But let's start out with the 6% test. The 6% test goes like this. You take your monthly amount, so let's call it $1,000 a month. You multiply it by 12, so that's be $12,000 a year, which would be the offer that you're getting, versus the lump sum amount. So I take my $12,000 divided by the lump sum amount that you're getting offered. If that number is greater than 6%, then you are starting to lean towards taking the monthly amount. If it's more than 6%, it's below 6%, I very often will say, just take the lump sum, take the money, you can invest it yourself and probably do just as well or better. Let's go through a couple of examples to try to use the 6% rule and make some of these decisions. First of all, when you're offered a pension plan, the monthly amount that you're offered, let's call it $2,000 a month, very often you have different choices. You can take what's called a single life, which is typically the highest monthly amount. That means if it goes as long as you live, but if you pass away, it stops. Or a joint life that would cover your life, or if you pass away, it would continue on in a certain percentage. They typically give you the 50%, 75 or 100% option that would then cover your spouse for as long as they live. I want to do these calculations typically with the joint life number. A single life pension is somewhat of a risky bet. It might work for some people in different situations, but for the most part, if you're betting that you live forever, the employer is saying, well, if you pass away tomorrow, we get to keep the whole pension. So it makes a lot of sense for most families to look at the joint life amount that you're being offered. Let's start with $2,000 a month. Let's say you're offered $2,000 a month or a $300,000 lump sum. $2,000 a month times 12 is $24,000 divided by the lump sum offer that they're saying, well, we can give you $24,000 a year or $300,000 as a lump sum. Which one's a better deal? Well, $24,000, that's the annual amount that you would get in a pension, divided by $300,000 is 8%. Now, it's pretty tough in the world that we live in to, quote, guarantee yourself 8%. Now, again, there's no guarantees in anything financial anymore, and pension plans can go under. And I've done a video right here on Money Matters, Wes Moss Money Matters, that talks about the protections we have with pension plans. The PBGC, the Pension Benefit Guarantee Corp, is put in place to try to protect a big portion of most folks' pensions. But if you think about this particular example, 8% as a monthly amount, it's pretty tough to guarantee yourself or find a way where you're going to get 8% no matter what. And if a pension plan is saying that that's the amount of income they're going to give you, then that example strongly leads towards taking the monthly amounts. Now let's change the numbers up a little bit and do another equation. Same $24,000 a year, $2,000 a month, monthly pension offer. Let's say that's a joint spousal retirement amount that you would collect, and if something happened to you, your spouse collects the same amount for the rest of their life. $24,000, but the lump sum this time offer is $480,000. Let's do the math. 24,000 divided by 480,000 is 5%. Well, that now is below my 6% test. And again, remember the first example, anything above 6%, I want to really strongly consider the monthly amount. Anything 6% or below, I want to seriously consider taking the lump sum amount. So in this example, 24,000 divided by 480 is 5%. Well, I think, in my opinion, you're better off taking the 480,000 because then you can create your own pension. Think of it this way. Even with zero interest, you can take 5% from any lump sum amount and it lasts for 20 years. 100% divided by 20 or 100% divided by 5 or 5% lasts 20 years. That's with zero interest. You just pay if you're just paying yourself back your own money. So when a pension plan says we're going to give you 5.5% of whatever the lump sum is, I say you could do that yourself with very minimal interest. So this 6% test, or almost line in the sand, is a really good first calculation when you're trying to, or you're struggling between, hey, which one do I take? Monthly amount sounds good because I don't have to invest the money and it's on the burden is on the pension plan to pay you forever. Or do I take the $300,000 or $480,000 and then invest that on my own and create my own pension plan? Again, for the 6% test is a wonderful first step to do the math to figure out which is a better deal for you in the long run, lump sum versus monthly amount. Now, once you figured out the 6% test, that line in the sand, there are obviously a lot of other variables that you need to consider. The first one is, if you don't have a whole lot of other retirement savings, then you would lean towards, or naturally lean towards, taking the lump sum. Even if it might be slightly above the 6% line, let's say it passes the 6% test, but then you're left with only a monthly income and no cushion to get to. Remember, lump sum is your money for the rest of your life. If something happened to you tomorrow after you take the lump sum's already in your family. So I would lean towards, in this scenario, if you don't have a whole lot of other savings, that lump sum can be critical to take, which would lean strongly towards taking the lump sum and not taking the monthly amount. Here's some of the other variables that can sway this decision. Think about your age, your longevity, your spouse's age. So whether you're taking a joint life amount or a single life amount or a 10-year or 20-year period certain amount, these are all different variables or different options that you'll likely be confronted with. And then the solvency of the company. Depending on, remember, the PBGC, which is the Pension Benefit Guaranty Corp, covers up to about $67,000 as of 2019. The reality here is that if you have a really large pension that's even more than that, which is relatively rare, you've got to worry about the solvency of the company. And if the solvency or the company doesn't make it and the PBGC only covers so much, how much could you be leaving on the table? That can also, of course, sway the decision. If your pension is well above that guaranteed amount by the PBGC, that would again lean towards taking the lump sum so that you have a bird in hand, and again, you can create your own pension. So there are a lot of variables to consider here. There's no perfect answer or one size fits all, but from my experience working with families for over 20 years, one of the first rules of thumb or tests you've got to do, line in the sand, the 6% test. Above 6% from the calculations we just did, consider taking the monthly amount. 6% or below, consider taking the lump sum, investing it yourself, creating your own pension. Being faced with, do I take a lump sum or a monthly amount, is typically a good financial problem to have. Again, there's so many different variables here, your age, your longevity, your spouse's age, the solvency of your company. But I like to start with this 6% test. There's no perfect one-size-fits-all answer here. So I know these equations or this can be a complicated decision. This is something that we help families with all the time. So feel free to reach out to me and my team. Go to wesmoss.com in order to do so. We're happy to help walk you through all these different variables and try to make the best decision that's right for you, your family, and a happy retirement. Hope this information was helpful, and I hope you have a profitable rest of your day. I hope you found this video helpful. There are lots of other videos on this page that'll help you be a happy retiree. Just hit subscribe right below this video. You can find us or follow us at Wes Moss Money Matters on Facebook or Instagram, Wes Moss Money Matters, and Twitter at WesMoss365. Thank you so much.